Hi, ladies. I'm really looking forward for our upcoming September Mycelial Network event, our online event, international women's community for women entrepreneurs, for consciousness workers. And I really would like to share the essence of this upcoming event and also remind you about the values of our community and why do we actually meet every month with the same people and spend 90 minutes together. Why are we doing this? Many times when we live in our more masculine society, everything has to have very tangible, very clear, very accomplishment oriented goal, right? Okay, this group is coming together, so this is the goal of why we're here, and this is the goal what we want to achieve, right? More like a linear achievement, success, goal approach. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful to accomplish those goals, because when you accomplish goals, you can also see as a creation process. Yet we don't want just to limit it with like one-sided masculine approach, right? We don't want to limit it with just getting there, right? We really want to include that feminine process, and also for the community work, shift our focus from like achieving something like certification group, for example. Like people get certified, of course they show up, they paid money and they show up for this group worked every time, right? So they commit. Now I talked to one of my colleagues and she was saying like, well, it's really hard to make people commit to something that doesn't have that kind of tangible, strict, important goal to achieve. And I was like, okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I did have great experience with some certification groups where people who show up consistently, the same people, right? Because there is this deeper commitment, there is this very tangible goal, especially if it's connected with business, people show up. And still, this approach, this situation reflects where we are at ourselves, with our businesses, with our relationships, as a community, as a society, right? So what I feel is missing in most of our lives, right? I wouldn't speak for everyone, but for a long time I've been feeling that, like I miss the community that just there because of the values, and it's because of like long term commitment or devotion to cultivate these beautiful relationships. So our meeting, our network group, it's not just for immediate gratification, but it's cultivating these richer and more expanded relationships with each other, with no very tangible goal in terms of like, oh, we really understand when and how this goal is going to be achieved together. And that's something that I'm curious how we can hold this and evolve and grow together this way, because this is so much more feminine approach to creating groups and working with groups. I've been so happy and so fulfilled with the energy of each meeting, each event that we co-create together. And I see how women are excited just to be there, just to see each other, just to, have this another event with another theme, with another practice, with another facilitator who comes in and share their embodiment practice, meditation practice, right? And exchange energy and connect on a deeper level. So I want to continue cultivating these values. Like it's not a tangible, like one-time goal, but it's like cultivating these relationships and really enjoying of the process of being together in this space, even though it's online. Now, our topic for this September event is equanimity. We're meeting right before fall equinox. And this is the time of the year that represents balance, balance in nature, balance between night and day, light and dark, and feminine and masculine. So my friend Olga came to me recently and she shared that, oh, I learned this new word, equanimity, and I really like it. And we translated it into Russian and Ukrainian, and it was just that translation doesn't quite capture the full dimension, the fullness, and this multifaceted quality of this English word, equanimity. So I started to dig deeper because I wouldn't translate it exactly like that. And I was really curious, what are all the meanings? What are, when we're using this word, what's the depth of its energetics, right? What does it communicate to us? And I found it quite fascinating, and I really want to make this word central theme for our September event. So equanimity is a mental calmness, composure, evenness of temper, especially in a difficult situation. Evenness of mind, especially under stress. A calm mental state. You know, when we explore the feminine, we also want to be like expressive and emotional and dance with this, you know, all shades and colors of our emotional being, because so many of these expressions were pressed. So sometimes when you talk about equanimity, it's like, well, I don't want to be this kind of emotionless person. I want to allow myself to feel, I want to allow myself to express it. So I was like, yeah, I love the idea of the word under certain circumstances, yet I also want to have that emotionality. So I was like dancing with this term for a while and like digging into vocabulary, you know, how the definition of this word in English and how it is also connected with the Buddhist practice, with the Buddhist, one of the virtues that Buddhists practice, which is based on equanimity. And this is one of the 4 Brahma Viharas that Buddhists practice, right? Metta is loving kindness, Karuna is compassion, Mudita is sympathetic joy, and Upekha, equanimity. And Upekha itself has certain guidelines of how we can practice it, because it doesn't mean that we're indifferent to what is going on around us. It doesn't mean that we this dry, you know, person who doesn't have an emotion, right? When something bad or beautiful happens, it is, the meaning is deeper than that. It's cultivating that connection to our true essence, so we don't self-betray under extreme circumstances. We don't self-betray or derail from our true nature, true expression under, you know, crazy conditions. Something horrible happens, or even something great happens, right? When people like make millions of dollars, like how does it affect your essence? Do you derail? Do you use it, you know, to show off or use your power in questionable way, right? So it goes both ways, to like extreme negative circumstances and extreme positive. How do we stay true to our own essence, to who we are, our own soul, our own values? So that is equanimity. This is what I feel, and it applies also to the moment when we face adversity, when we face negativity. Can we stay connected to the true essence, unshaken, and show up for others from that space? So for us, for me and Olga right now, it's very important to really explore and practice upekkha, equanimity, because of war in Ukraine, how much it affected us internally and how much it traumatized us. Can we come back to our true essence and see the world through the lens of upekkha? Joseph Campbell was saying it's about joyful participation in the sorrows of the world, not to be oppressed or shut down or ruined by all the suffering we see around us, but engage in this joyful participation to bring this energy of joy, of fulfillment, of ecstasy, of beauty, and share it with the world. That's how I understand upekkha as well. Joyful participation in the sorrows of the world. I'd like to also share what I found about upekkha as practice, equanimity as practice in the Buddhist tradition. This too shall pass. This is something that is really helpful when something bad has happened, right? Because we don't want the good things to pass, we want more of those. But when something negative or tragic happens, this is what we can remember as human beings, to remind ourselves that it will change. The second one is experience things as they are, not trying to make things work the way we want them to work, outside of our control, right? But the acceptance. And that is really, really hard for like heavy stuff, right? War, right? Or loss of beloved ones. This acceptance. And acceptance doesn't mean absence of grief, right? It's just the acceptance of being in that place and accepting what is real. Being the observer, being observer of what is going on in the world, like holding space with that loving presence, and being observer for what is going on within us, and holding space for our own process and our own journey. Be honest with yourself is the next one. Like staying in that alignment with our essence, no matter what. And being like water, which I feel very feminine practice. Being fluid, connecting with that energy of water that can move us from the place of stuckness to the next adventure, to the next opening. And if one door is closed, shifting the energy, course correcting, redirecting, and going somewhere else. And when this door will open, we'll be notified by the universe, right? So I'm excited for our upcoming events. I'm looking forward to see all of you there. And Summer is actually going to lead the practice in the beginning of our session with her method of flow dreaming. See you soon, ladies.